Larry Kudlow, who knows a thing or two about economic policy. All right, Larry, the Fed cuts rates a quarter point, maybe more cuts still to come this year and next. Did they do the right thing?
I thought it was a really puny rate cut, really puny. And I think the hero of this story is Steve Myron, the new Fed board member who took a leave of absence from the Council of Economic Advisors. You know, Stu, when you go through the governors, I mean, I think Chris Waller, by the way, and Mickey Bowman, who were Trump appointees, should have joined Myron in dissenting and calling for 50 basis points. That's the way I think the whole group should have done it. But stepping back, the FOMC in general is anti-growth. They don't agree with Trump's policies. I mean, free markets, lower taxes, deregulation should grow the economy by 3 to 4%. And you look at the Fed's so-called dot plot, they're still looking at 1.8% for the next several years. What does that tell you? It tells you they do not believe that the Trump policies are going to work. It also tells you they don't understand the AI revolution. They don't understand the productivity revolution, all of which is going to raise growth. I mean, heck, Q2, Trump's first quarter, 3.3%. And already the Atlanta Fed GDP tracker for Q3 is looking at 3.3%. So the Federal Reserve's behind the curve. They should have gone 50 basis points. That's my take.
Okay, well, move on. During the Biden administration, the Supreme Court prevented attempts to make major policy moves without permission from Congress. Now, the Supreme Court is going to hear the tariff case. They're going to hear it on November the 5th. Will the Supreme Court treat Trump's tariffs the same way? You know, we could be in for some real trouble if they reject tariffs.
Well, I agree with your concern, 100% agree. Look, these lower courts continue to stand in the way of Trump policies. I mean, I think that's a generic point that has to be made. Even going back to the Fed, the Lisa Cook mortgage fraud allegations, these lower courts are standing in the way. Now, what will the Supremes do about IEEPA, the Emergency Tariff Act? I don't know. It's a foreign policy issue as much as it is a trade issue. All right, if you're with me on this. Mr. Trump,
yep,
you can see it in Britain, for example. Mr. Trump is conducting as much foreign policy as he is trade policy. And the commander-in-chief is in charge of foreign policy, not lower court district judges, and for that matter, not even Congress. So I think that on the tariff question, he is well within his arena, well within his point to go ahead. Otherwise, there'll be chaos, Stu. I mean, by the time the Supreme Court makes a decision, you'll have had about it could be $300 billion in tariff revenues, and what they're going to be rebated back to the companies that paid them. It would create absolute monetary and fiscal chaos. So my sense is, on the foreign policy question and on the rebate question, the Supreme Court will take a rather pragmatic view, a common sense view, and let the president conduct foreign policy and trade policy.
We're all glad to see the special relationship in very good shape, and Larry will be watching you at 4 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon.